When God brings you somebody, you look at the person and begin to size the person up and down. Which background is he coming from? Which tribe? Which language? And all of that. Some of you have missed the right person that God brought to you all this while because you are looking for something that you think is the best. I am telling you to put aside your choice and to accept the choice of God. Hello viewers, welcome to the Contextual Discipleship broadcast. This is the marriage series. My name is Sam Udanyi. Our topic for today is choosing a marriage partner. Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 19 says, "Today I have given you the choice between life and death, between blessing and curses. Now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. Oh, that you would choose life so that you and your descendants might live. You can make this choice by loving the Lord your God, obeying Him, and committing yourself firmly to Him. This is the key to your life. And if you love and obey the Lord, you will live long in the land the Lord swore to give your ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Another scripture also says, Proverbs 18:20, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord." Let me tell you the truth, and that is that human beings will make wrong choices. Every choice that human beings make, the tendency for it to be wrong is almost 99%. Why? Because our choices can never be, in our natural life and sense, be the way God will make for us. If you are to choose your parents, for example, will you choose the present father and mother that you have? Not many will say yes. Why? Because you have come to a point whereby maybe you are not so much interested in your father, or you don't love your mother because they have done one thing or the other to you, and so you are no longer happy with them. Now, if you have an opportunity to choose a place where you will be giving birth to, I am sure you will not choose the village where you are coming from. I, for one, will not choose the village where I'm coming from. I would have chosen a better place, maybe America or London or wherever. But God doesn't give us that opportunity. We are where He has placed us, and you must love that place. Look at the birth of Christ, for example. Where was He giving birth to? He was giving birth to in a manger, abode of sheep. That was where they gave birth to Him. But that was God's choice. That was God's choice, and it was best. Now, what of the mother that gave birth to Him, called Mary? Do you know who Mary was or is? A very poor, uneducated woman, and very quiet and reserved. That was her personality. But God chose that, look, this is the lady that will bring my son into being. Now listen, God's choice is always different from our own choice. And that is why I'm telling you that for the issue of marriage, if you don't allow Him to make the choice for you, and you go ahead thinking that, oh, I love this lady, I love this boy, and all of that, and you put things together by yourself, you will miss it. Allow God to make the choice for you. And when you do, you will not regret. God's choice of Moses, for example. Do you know that Moses was a stammerer? But that was the choice God made to bring out the children of Israel from their bondage. Do you know that Moses was also a murderer? He murdered. But God said, no, you will be the one. Do you know Moses was hot-tempered? And of course, that was one of the reasons why he couldn't reach the promised land. But despite all these weaknesses in Moses, he was still the best, the choice that God made to bring out the Israelites from their slavery. What of the choice of David? At that time, that boy was so small. Samuel that was sent to anoint him, for example, Samuel almost missed it. Why? Because he didn't know that there was a vessel in the bush which God had prepared. Brothers, can I ask you? You are not yet married and you are listening to me. Can I ask you this question? If God should decide today and bring Ruth that we see in the Bible, she said, this is going to be your wife, will you accept her? Remember that Ruth lost her husband. You will think that she is the one that killed her husband. If I marry her, I may be the next person. So quickly you run away. That's what is happening in our fellowships. When God brings you somebody, you look at the person and begin to size the person up and down, which background is he coming from, which tribe, which language, and all of that. Here in Nigeria, for example, there are some tribes that are labeled as don't go to that place because of many things, which are not palatable though. But as a brother, do you know that when God brings you the right person, no matter which background she comes from, that will be his choice for your life. What of Esther? Esther was an orphan. Orphans normally lack parental care because they have nobody to take care of them. And they will demand so much from you. So you will quickly conclude and say, if I marry Esther, I will not be able to cope with her. What if you come across Lydia in the Bible? She was so old and yet single. And then you begin to crack your head and say, what? How can God bring me such an old woman? I'm even older. She's even older than me by 2 years. Say, no, that cannot be God's will. That will be your conclusion. But I tell you that is the choice that God has brought to you. But you have rationalized it and say, no. I will not take such. Some of you have missed the right person that God brought to you all this while. Because you are looking for something that you think is the best. Brother, what if it's Mary Magdalene that God decides to bring to you in this generation? You will see her as the worst of all ladies here on earth. Because 7 evil spirits were cast out of her. And you quickly conclude in your mind and say, if I marry Mary Magdalene, I'm sure that problem will come back again. It will relapse in our marriage. Maybe after 2 or 3 years of our marriage, suddenly those evil spirits will begin to manifest. I can't have a wife who is possessed with evil spirit. But remember, those spirits left Mary and never came back again. She was completely delivered. But you will not think like that. Carnality in the church is what is killing us. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 1 talks of carnality. Now my sisters too, what if it's Jeremiah that God sends to you and say, this will be your husband? What will you do? You begin to size him up and say, I can't marry him. He's unpopular. He's a weeping prophet. He's unaccepted in his land. And so because of that, I don't want to marry a man that nobody knows and who is not also popular. And what if it's Thomas? Not easily convinced. That's what you will say. He's full of doubts. I can't marry a husband that each time we are talking, he's doubting me. He sent me out and I come in to give him report. He's not believing me. I can't marry such a person. A doubting Thomas. No, I will not. And you throw Thomas away, not knowing that is God's will for your life. What if it's Timothy? You say, he's too timid. What a young man. He appears to be too religious because he was brought up by his mother. What if it's Paul? You talk and say, I will not marry him. He could go back to his old life of killing people. Now, all of these are things that you should watch out for. I'm bringing out these characters from the scripture to show you that we have such personalities today in our fellowships, in our churches, in our communities, where God is also dealing with such people individually and preparing them for marriage. But if you don't know, you will think that your own choice is what you should go for. I am telling you to put aside your choice and to accept the choice of God. If any of these characters have shown you or I've mentioned are people that God has destined for your life in this generation. Please don't reject any of them. Don't. Because if you do, you will miss it in life. There are so many sisters in our time now that are not married because any of these persons that I've mentioned have come their way, sent by God, but they rejected because of their lives, of the way they think they are, either a sister or a brother, and that is not good for you.